Hey everyone, it's Undead. I'm going to be speedrunning and ranking every killer in Dead by Daylight from worst to best in 7 minutes. This is just my opinion, but let's get started. Starting it off with my 27th spot, I have the Cannibal. This is a good time to say that no killer on this list is bad. They all have their own advantages and disadvantages. I feel like with the Cannibal, he just has so much counterplay. He has his chainsaw, which could be deadly, but not if the survivors are thinking one step ahead of him and can get to a loot. At that point, there's not a whole lot for him to do. Yes, he could tear up pallets, but the team can finish all the gens by the time you've made it to every pallet. Up next is Trapper. Now, I love the Trapper and he is really fun to play, but not when you're at high MMR. I love the control of the map he has and how you get free downs, but he's almost completely useless when players know how to counter him. Every trap will get disabled and all of the gens will pop. Game over. In the 25th spot, we have the Pig. So the Pig is a killer that is great for going against beginners, but the average survivor won't have as hard of a time avoiding her dash attack or getting the trap off their head. Her ability still buys you a lot of time though. Next is Clown. I think that Clown can be great at countering loops sometimes, but he doesn't have a whole lot of map pressure. He sometimes downs survivors a little faster, but that's all he could really do with this ability. Getting into decent killers, I have the Trickster. I personally have never been a fan of this killer. He can injure multiple people from a distance, but it does take a lot for him to be able to do that. It's a lot to get decent with this killer, and the payoff isn't anything crazy. Next is Legion. Legion is great at wasting time, injuring people, and it doesn't take a whole lot to be able to do that. But injuring survivors will only get you so far in Dead by Daylight. Up next is Wraith. Wraith can be decent when you injure people, then later catch them off guard. There are some people who could do some impressive plays with Wraith, but for the most part he's just meh. In the 20th spot is the Shape. Michael becomes deadly in tier 3, especially when you 99 his stock and time it right. He also has amazing add-ons. And next is the Ghostface. I do think he is a step up from Michael because he is much better with his stealth. He takes more skill, but with that skill he could do a lot more. Getting into the powerful killers, I have the Deathslinger. I really love how this guy is able to hit survivors at windows or around loops when he uses his spear gun. His nerfs leave him feeling slow and less stealthy though. Up next is Demogorgon. He has a lot of map pressure, but like Trapper, your time will get wasted a fair amount when the survivors close your portals. I like his lunge ability, and it's always great to use the perk Save the Best for last. I've seen demo mains do some crazy plays with him. Next up I have the On-Rail. I love how she could appear on the map, and it is always fun that she has the possibility of just being able to Mori a survivor mid-game, but it's hard to get to that point. In the 15th spot is the Oni. Oni is an all-around good killer. Use injury-related perks on him, you can get a lot of use out of his power. He has great map pressure and can easily get downs at times. From my personal experience, Oni is very easy to loop as survivor, and he can get a lot of time wasted if he chases a survivor that knows his counterplay. The Doctor is up next. He has an ability that reveals where survivors are constantly, wastes time, and makes everything the survivors do a bit more difficult. It's nice when you can stop a survivor from performing an action, but it could be hard to do that. Next I have Freddy. He has amazing gen and map pressure and either fake pallets or blood pools to help with chases. He is great for the average players because he's easy to play and very strong. Getting into our very powerful killers, I have the Nemesis. He takes a bit of weight off your shoulder for being able to absolutely counter pallets and most loops. He does have to whip a survivor 3 times to down them, but it's powerful to be able to bypass loops like that. The Pinhead is next, and the box is a great way to give survivors a new objective and makes pressuring gens a lot easier. Some survivors are good with removing and dodging his chains, but they could still be very greatly effective in stopping a survivor in their tracks. In the 10th spot is the Plague. She could either force survivors to stay injured, or she could be able to injure multiple people at a time easily. That is pretty powerful, you just need to make sure you are infecting as many survivors as you can. Next I have the Hag. I was always never the best with Hag myself, but from witnessing what other people can do with her, I know she is very strong. Even I know that all you need is good trap placement, I just haven't put the time into her. Next up are the Twins. They could be toxic, but they could also just be straight up powerful as hell. I could totally see someone getting a 50 win streak with these guys easily. For me, it is annoying as shit to miss with Victor, but I've noticed they are mostly played at high MMR, so that probably doesn't happen to those guys. Getting into our most powerful killers, I have the Executioner. Here's another killer that could be really toxic, but also just has a tremendous amount of power. He counters so many toxic things a survivor can do, which in a game like Dead by Daylight is a big relief. He can counter loops and even Moria Survivor. Up next is the Artist. The Artist almost feels like you're hacking at times for the fact that she could be able to end loops so well, and especially because you could injure people from across the map. She's an insane killer. In the 5th spot is Hillbilly. A lot of people may disagree with my placement for him, but we all have our own opinions, and to me, Billy has always been a great killer. Billy is capable of top tier damage. You just have to put a lot of practice into him and have a lot of patience. Coming up next is Huntress. She's hands down the best range killer and has the ability to injure a survivor basically anywhere as long as there's not a structure blocking her way. You also don't have to deal with hitting the survivors multiple times to injure them, as only one hatchet will do the trick. In my 3rd spot, I have the Spirit. This is a killer who always had the best mind games and had almost no way to counter her. At least now there's some counter, but she has the insane mind game potential even now. In my 2nd spot, I have the Blight. Here's a killer that can get anywhere he wants, doing so fast as hell, disregard loops, and controlled chases. You just have to get good with him first. And the best killer in the game is Nurse. Nurse can do whatever she wants. If you could figure out a survivor's movement style and decision making, you could predict where they will be, and they will be downed in a matter of seconds. So here's my tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Some of you might have a different opinion than me, especially with Bubba, and I respect your opinions anyways. If you guys want, in another video I can make a more detailed, lengthy explanation on this, but I just wanted to keep this one short and to the point. Subscribe to my channel and you won't miss out on any future videos. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.